Jim Spain died of cancer
Mm-hmm.
when, while I was gone, before we got back with Anya, while I was bringing her back up.
Oh, wow. That quickly right there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I went and saw him in the hospital.
Uh-huh.
And he said, I'm a no hope. I said, well, everybody is eventually. I said, listen, if you want to check out, I'll get you some pills.
Yeah.
I'll bring them to you. He said, don't need to, man. I'm on morphine. I'm all fucked up. Don't worry about it.
Oh, wow.
But I offered him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And while we were gone, Pete took him out to San Miguel Island, and he just loved it out there. And he says, when I'm dead, bring me out here and bury me.
Oh, wow.
And they did.
Did they?
He's out there now. I don't know where.
Oh, man.
They hid because they knew, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
But Jim Spain's buried on San Miguel Island.
Were they just take ashes or something?
They got a little plate
Uh-huh.
with his name and da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then they put dirt over everything.
Uh-huh.
So it wouldn't be found for years and years. And if it ever is, there he is.
That's
And that's
Jim
it.
Spain's. Wow. So
And it's kind of cool. I mean,
Yeah.
part of a smuggling operation. I mean, those islands were from the beginning of time out here.
Yeah, yeah.
And Jim Spain buried on San Miguel.
When you talked to him on the phone that night,
Yeah.
it was a night when he called, right?
Yeah.
And tells you that Pete's in jail, they know everything, good luck. What goes through your head initially?
What the fuck?
It's a call no smuggler wants to get. An associate's voice, no greeting, just the pertinent information. Pete's been arrested in Mexico. They know everything. Good luck. And with those words, Bobby's life changes. The next day, he and Monique leave Southern California, headed for Miami in an international flight. The idyllic year of 1973 is over. Instead of sailing away together, they're on the run. Bobby has no idea what's in store. If he stays, he could wind up in jail. But the road is rife with its own unknowns. Luckily, they're young, with no real ties to speak of, and $100,000 stashed away. But even more than that, Bobby, if you haven't caught on yet, is uniquely capable of handling challenges just like these.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but I thought, well, maybe I'll just get out of here until the dust settles and see, they hadn't been coming in on me or anything.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't know where we were, so I thought best just to get out of town and see what happens before I come back, if I'm going to have to get it, what I'm going to have to do.
Yeah,
I didn't know then, so Monique and I got all our stuff together, and next day we took off. And actually, we were going to Medellin because we'd gotten a postcard from John and Joni Piner, who were down there. And they were traveling, and they sent us a postcard from there, down Medellin, Colombia. Hey, it's beautiful down here, da-da-da-da-da.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we sent them a postcard back, dropped it in the mail that day, and headed that way. And by Miami Beach, then we got a plane and went down.
Okay. All right. How long did it take you to get to Medellin? I mean, you got to drive across country.
We had to drive across country, but we didn't waste any time.
Yeah.
I mean... I remember how long it took to drive across Texas, like forever.
Yeah.
And I remember the rain we got into down by New Orleans was so heavy we couldn't drive. We had to pull over and stop. I remember that.
Wow.
And then we got to Miami and we sold a VW Bug and got tickets on an airplane and off to Medellin.
And so you'd sent this postcard and taken off, and this is the 70s before emails and texts and things. So
they had it before we got there.
Huh?
They had it before we got there.
You got exactly, but you didn't know if they'd even get it or if they'd be waiting for you.
No, we just took a chance that they wouldn't, and we would have been there anyway. So what the hell?
Right.
We wanted to get out of town anyway.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get out of town. And I think, Monique kind of came along for the ride.
Could you tell anything, even looking back now, about Monique's attitude and
no,
where she was?
Yeah, okay, let's go. And
Yeah.
off we went,
Yeah.
And
So what was waiting for you in Medellin then?
John and Joni.
Mm-hmm.
And we got there, and there was a rooming house or place they were staying, and we got a room in the same place. It was a woman that had a place with a number of rooms, and she let them out to travelers and whatnot.
Right, yeah. What was Medellin like?
It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Colombia is a beautiful country. I mean, really beautiful country. It's, green. And we went down to Turbo after I got there. John and I, we just, he'd helped move some of that first weed and what we did. And we were kind of in the business, and he was a sailor. And so we went down to Turbo to see if, just what was going on. And it was quite a trip.
So yeah, and I want to get into that, but first, even back writing this chapter
Yeah.
and talking to you about this time, uh, one thing that I wanted to get, I mean, you don't know what's going on with Pete. You've taken off. You've left the country. You're in Colombia. Why are you looking to for a load? What is it? What is it you
It
were
was
thinking?
just, I don't know. It was just, we were there and we'd made a bunch of money on it before. And it was just something that was possible to do.
Okay.
It wasn't
Okay.
like we were absolutely going to do it or we
Right.
had to do it or anything. And once, we went down to Turbo and came back, and we just kind of forgot about it.
Okay, let's go to Turbo now.
Yeah.
Let's you and John head into why Turbo?
It was just on the north coast of Colombia.
And so that seemed like a
A
likely
good place
enough
to go down is where we might be able to find something like that.
Okay.
And we were right.
Well, you were right. Yeah, but let's get there. Let's get there.
Okay. But yeah,
Let's
we
talk
talk-
about the you and John on the bus.
Oh yeah. I mean,
So Turbo,
It's all-
Turbo
it-
is
it-
north of Medellin toward the north coast, right?
yeah,
On the
yeah. Medellin's up in the mountains.
Okay.
It's nice and cool. It's up there. Turbo's down the coast. It's
Right.
a lot hotter.
Right. And Turbo is actually it's the end of the it's the terminus of the South American big giant leg of the Pan American Highway.
Yeah, it stops in Turbo. The Darien Gap is on the other side.
right
and then
there.
you get to Panama, and then it takes off again.
Right. So, but Turbo is basically right at the edge, right at the end, and it's Darien Gap.
That's the closest city at the time. That's the closest I see on the map to the
Right.
Darien Gap.
Yeah.
And so we thought we'd go down there and check it out.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got it on this bus up in Medellin in the afternoon. And, off we go. The bus driver was this guy, kind of stocky little guy, about maybe 5 feet 6 inches tall. He was 40 years old or so. We only went about a mile, and he pulls over. And this girl gets on the bus and sits in his lap. And they start making out, and off we go.
While they're driving?
Yes. He's driving this bus along, and nobody seemed to, I'm sitting about a seat behind. There was a seat between me and him.
Uh-huh.
I mean, really? We go about 5 miles and stop, and she gets out, and that's where she was going. He was just giving her a ride. It's his girlfriend or something.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know. So, and boy, that orange juice. People, when the bus would stop, people would come up and you could buy a glass of orange juice.
Uh-huh.
And man, was it good.
Oh, fresh
orange juice. Great.
Yeah.
But anyway, off we go. Well, going to Turbo, you're up in the mountains, you're going kind of downhill.
Mm-hmm.
And you got in the sides of the mountains, and I'm not exaggerating. It's 1,000 feet off one side. I mean, a rock wall on the other side. They've cut a road through this, a number of big cliffs going down here.
Wow.
And it was raining. It started to rain.
Oh, geez.
And we're going along, and this road looks like it's about a bus and a half wide, and two buses would pass each other. I mean, the buses would miss each other by maybe 18 inches. And then you'd see the other people going right by you. And on the other side of them was 1,000-foot drop.
That's it. So it's right side driving in Colombia,
Yeah.
right? So at least you're on the wall side.
Yeah, we're on the wall side going down. We would have been on the cliff side coming up, and I remembered that. But anyway, all night we went down there, and this bus had was about 17 on it, and he was the apprentice bus driver.
Okay.
And he would go around and take tickets and do that sort of thing. And it turns out he would relieve the driver at stretches so that, he was learning to be a bus driver.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got about halfway down this mountain at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and the bus stops, and this 17-year-old kid or so gets into the driver's seat, and the driver goes in the back of the bus and lays down on the floor and goes to sleep. And here we're going down this road in the rain, buses coming the other way, and this kid driving us down. And
How was he doing?
He's doing all right.
Yeah.
He was still a kid driving a bus down in
Sure.
the middle of the night down a road, I wouldn't want to drive on it.
Yeah. Wow.
And there was and this went on for about an hour, I guess. And there was a guy on the bus. He was an Asian guy, but he had a chevron shirt or a shirt on, and, a nice white shirt. He was dressed well with a chevron logo. And so something to do with Chevron oil. He went back and he had one arm. he went back and shook the bus driver, told him to get up and drive the bus.
Oh my God.
And he did.
Yeah.
And I was relieved.
Yeah.
So at least, because he was real competent. Okay. Anyway, in the morning we find, in the middle of this somewhere, it was when the regular bus driver was driving, but we came to a stop and there was something wrong. Guess who was out under the bus with the flashlights fixing it? John and me.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to put a wire together from something had parted. I don't even remember what it was.
But you the guys got under
And
the bus and got under.
we had a flashlight. We had one in our stuff.
Okay.
And we got out and he and I put something together, and I can't remember what it was. And then off we went again.
Oh my God.
So we got down in the morning. We got down to a place called Ascension, I believe, right at kind of the bottom of the hill. But it had gotten light out, and it was just a little way to Turbo there. We got out there and walked by a meat market. I'll never forget it. Flies all over this stuff in this hot morning. And I thought, oh my God.
Wow.
I'd never seen anything like that before.
Okay.
But anyway, we went on, we finally got to Turbo. It wasn't very far. And we walk into town, and we hadn't been there a minute or two walking into town. And Turbo then wasn't probably what it is now.
Right.
But it was corrugated roofs and small structures here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But we walked in there, and this great big black guy, 6'4", 240 pounds or so, comes walking up to us, big smile on his face. Hi, you guys looking to buy marijuana? Really? Yeah, maybe. I'll introduce you to my Hefe. You can buy it here for $16 a kilo and sell it for $300 a pound in the States.
Uh-huh.
Those numbers were accurate.
I remember from when we, so that's something that you can check that box and go, okay, you're legit. But I remember there was something when we did the initial interview writing that too, where you asked him why. I asked him that?
Yeah, I asked him, well, why do you ask that? He said, you're here.
You're here. Yeah, exactly. Just, two gringos walking down the street.
Yeah, I said, well, maybe. And he says, I can introduce you to my Hefe.
Mm-hmm.
And he told us what we could pay, had to buy it for, what the price
right.
was there, $16 a pound. We could sell it for $300 a pound, or $16 a kilo. And we could sell it for $300 a pound in the States. Wow. And he was right.
Wow.
And
that's cheaper than Mexico, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot cheaper than Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
Cheaper.
And so we went over to a lean-to where I guess he stayed. He had sleeping, and it looked like a little home away from home kind of thing. I'm sure it wasn't his
like a real home,
real home or anything. He probably had a wife and kids or something. But that's where he was staying there. And we sat down. We rolled a joint, a nice big joint. We sat and smoked the joint, and then he was going to go get his Hefe, and he took off and left us there. And I said to John, this is too easy. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Why?
And John, because it's just too easy. I'd never been treated. Come on, really? Mm-hmm. Right out in the open. And I wasn't used to that. And I thought, if it's this easy, we might be getting set up here.
Okay.
That's what my thought was. Mm-hmm. This is just too fucking easy. And John agreed with me.
Yeah.
We just left. Went out. Then we remembered the bus ride up the hill. I remembered it anyway. The one down and where we were going to have to go. And I found they had an airport down there with a little commuter plane that went up to Medellin. 2:00 in the afternoon, we were on that commuter plane flying back up to Medellin. I had no intention of driving on the cliffside up that fucking road.
Having ridden with you places, with you behind the wheel and it's alarming to me that there's a road somewhere that you wouldn't elect it, but you wouldn't have been driving, you'd be a passenger. So I understand the difference.
Yeah, it was a big difference. That's true. But that said, I still to this day, they talk about the road from hell. I see it on TV and stuff about some road down in it's even worse than this one down in South America and Peru, I think. Believe it.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
those cliffside roads.
Now and then buses go off those things and, 15, 20 people are killed.
Everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Yeah, there's
Fly. So but I remember you also talking about taking off in the mountains, because this is right up. I was looking at a map writing this chapter, and I'm looking at at a map. I'm going, well, yeah, I guess, because the Andes come up and kind of curve across the top of South America,
Right.
so they're right there. So you're flying into the very northern peaks
Yes.
of the Andes, and they're higher than you when you take
Oh,
off.
when we take off in the plane, the peaks are all around us. There are clouds around us. We're going through it. And I mean, being a pilot, I'm like, wow, look at all this, you know, this is pretty, for a commercial plane, it wasn't radical, but
Sure.
you know, with all those streets, the up and down drafts and everything,
Yeah.
I'd do it 1,000 times rather than ride that damn bus.
That's Oh man! All right. So how long were you guys in Medellin?
We stayed. We were there close to a month. John and I, after we got back from Medellin, went up and got on the bus one day and went up in the mountains there to get some mushrooms. We were going to check out psilocybin mushrooms. I never had any, and I don't think he had either. But we heard about them all, So we went up and we paid some kids up there. We got out of the bus and we paid some kids to show us where the Yongos were. It was just what we were talking about. And so they took us out in this little pasture there, and these little mushrooms there, and we got a couple and started eating them. And these kids sat around and watched us. I said, "You want some?" Nope. Their parents told them they were poison.
You go ahead. You go first. That's great.
Yeah. But anyway, they sit around and watch the gringos get all scared. Well, everything turns a shade of blue. And we took some back to our room with us, got a little bag and went back to the room with him. And that night, John explained to me that he had discovered the meaning of life.
Oh, no.
Run around the Andes eating hongos.
That thankfully, that didn't stick. So you and Monique are in Medellin. I mean, you're just kind of floating, right? There's no real.
Oh, Medellin was, kind of a trip. There's a Zocalo, a main park downtown Medellin. I was there one day talking to some European people. Monique was someplace else. Maybe she and Joni, who knows? But a couple of agents, probably DOS, came up to us, asked to see our passport. Well, everybody had them except me. And I told them, it's in my room. Back and said, okay.
And DOS is like the combination FBI, DEA sort of thing of national police.
They kind of searched us all a little bit, not much.
Yeah.
And fortunately, because I had a joint rolled up in my sleeve.
Wow.
But then I had to get in their car with them and go up to where my room was. And they went into the little hotel we were staying, or the room we were staying in. And the pot I had there was in my medical kit. And it was right on the top of my stuff in my pack and stuff. And I opened it up and there it was. I put it up in the bed, got my other stuff, got my passport out and handed it to
just
the
nonchalant, whatever.
I just took the medical kit, put it aside. And you could see what it was. It said, with the cross on it and stuff. It was obvious what it was. And I said, put it aside and handed him my passport. He looked at it. Thank you. Shook my hand. And then they went out and talked to the woman. And then they went into some other people's rooms, some travelers. I don't know who they were. I think they were Europeans. And they found a joint. And they were asking her who these people were and everything.
So when they get back, that's waiting for them.
Nothing. We left pretty soon after that.
Where did you get the pot in Medellin?
Oh, we go for a taxi cab driver. And he would take us down to a different part of town and pull up in front of this little house. They were all little houses, but kind of a ramshackle, little house. And a boy about 10 years old to come out and say, 20 or 100. 20 was marijuana.
20, and it's what's price is.
Yeah, 20 pesos of marijuana for marijuana was about, I don't know. It wasn't an ounce, but it was maybe a half an ounce.
Jeez.
Or somewhere around that. And it cost 20 pesos. I think a peso is about, there were 33 pesos to the dollar.
Oh, wow.
So that, cost less than $1.
Okay.
And cocaine was 100. But still, that's only like less than $3 for a little gram of cocaine, I guess. Or I don't know how much, because we always bought Vente. We knew what the deal was. Well, we did it a couple of times, and I went down there with, to get it again because we go through it in a few days. I went down and I thought, well, I'll be real sharp here. I'll get 100 this time so we don't have to keep coming back.
Right, right.
And but I didn't realize CN meant cocaine.
Just cocaine.
I thought, how much did you want? So he came up and I said, CN. He zips back in and comes out with a plastic square thing of Coke.
Yeah.
I said, no Coca, Mota. Mota? CN? It didn't fit with him very well. But that little 10-year-old was an entrepreneur in the making.
Uh-huh.
He zipped right back into that house. Memotio, senor. Boom. And back in the house. He wasn't in there 30 seconds. And he comes out. He wanted that 100 peso note.
Sure. Okay.
He comes running. He comes back out with about, I don't know, 2.5 ounces, 3 ounces of newspaper rolled up.
Oh, wow.
And says, here, for less than $3, I got probably, it wasn't a quarter of a pound, but 3 ounces.
That's a little less. Yeah.
Way more than I would have got for 5 times CN.
So $3. See, now if it's $3 and if it's about 3 ounces,
a little less than $3.
That kind of works out with the $16.
Maybe, but he figured it quick, boy, because he was out there and bam with it, and there off he went with the 100 peso note, and we smoked it. We got down to we had about an ounce of it left when we decided it was time to take off.
Yeah, why? What spurred that decision to leave?
Who knows? It was just we'd been there a while.
Yeah.
And we thought about going up to Playa del Coco. When Monique and I thought about that because we knew some guys that had sailed down there, and they said it was a wonderful place.
Uh-huh.
So we said, we're going to go up Playa del Coco, Costa Rica. Let's go up there. And John and Joni had been traveling. He said, we're going to go back up to the States, okay? And I probably said, listen, if you hear anything, give me a shout or let me know or something like that. I don't know how we would have, because where would you send it to them?
Right, exactly.
But anyway.
That's just, and you'd never been to Costa Rica before, of course, but the guy who you'd heard about Playa del Coco from, were those the same guys who built the trimarans?
Yes.
Okay.
That was,
and I just want to get the names of the trimarans in one more time because I think
it was Matra and Sunflower.
I love that. Those two hippie trimarans, Mantra and Sunflower.
And they were beautifully built boats, both Cantola 42s.
Right.
They were kind of sifter ships. They were painted a little differently and whatnot, but they were really.
So Cantola 42s, that's the same as Anya was, right?
No, Anya was a Piper 41.
Oh, okay.
And these were much prettier boat than the Piper was.
Really?
I mean, the Piper was an older model trimaran with a wheelhouse on it and stuff, which was wonderful for sailing. And she moved just fine. She was great. But theirs were a little more sleeker, and they were nice looking boats.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we mentioned, because every chance we got in the book and in the podcast, I just love that. There's something about, that's a whole movie
and they
right
were
there,
great,
Mantra and Sunflower.
They were building down in Marina del Rey when Marina del Rey was just getting going, and they just got finished with them kind of when I moved in there. And I met them through that. And they were still in the boatyard.
All right.
And the first pot I got was from that boatyard for friends of these guys.
Right.
A guy named David West. And we would all go on to be friends for years.
For years and years, right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you're leaving Medellin with
Monique and I. And we had to go down to Barranquilla, and then they changed planes, and then we went up to Costa Rica.
Right.
And when we were sitting in the plane, our paperwork was all done. We were sitting there ready to take off.
In
Barranquilla. And 2 guys in suits came aboard the airplane, walked right down the aisle to where Monique and I were sitting, asked us to stand up.
Oh, no.
DOS agents.
Right.
They searched me, not real heavy or anything, and they went through, they didn't lay a hand on Monique.
Yeah.
And they went through her purse and checked stuff out. When we got done, they shook our hands. They were gentlemen. They treated her with respect. They treated me nicely, shook our hands and said, thank you. And then they turned around and left. And Monique had that ounce of pot in her panties. And she stood there just stoic and didn't bat an eye.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that the DOS agents were just like gentlemen.
They were.
I think that's really cool.
They were
like Latin American gentlemen, right? You're not going to lay a hand on the woman like that.
They weren't abusive at all. They were doing their job.
Yeah.
No. And then we went through Costa Rica. We and went up to Coco.
Mm-hmm.
And then we spent, about 6 months there.
So you land in San Jose, and it's in Guanacaste province is where it is.
Playa del Coco is in the northwest corner of Costa Rica in Guanacaste.
And it's a special kind of zone. It's a would you call it like kind of, or is every part of the coast of Costa Rica, but sort of a Riviera kind of? I mean, that's where
there was no
the elites
Riviera
were.
then.
But I just meant that's where the elites had their homes and things up there.
Yeah, they did. But the government elites, I bought a piece of property there and it boarded Daniel Otaber, who was the president's property at the time.
Wow,
yeah.
Okay.
But and those people would come down for Semana Santa and stuff like that. But that's where a lot of the wealthy, influential people in Costa Rica went to the beach.
Right. Okay.
And
so we've talked. There's a lot in the book and a lot in your life, especially in this time. Playa del Coco is just a big scene, and there's a lot of significance there, and the times you spent there, and then in the future when you return and things. Yeah. Tell us about Playa del Coco when you initially saw it, and when is this again? We're in 1970 into 73. First 74. Part of 74. Now we're into 74 now. What was Playa del Coco like?
73, we got there, just at the beginning of 74, I think.
Right.
And it was just a beautiful little tropical beach with great people. There was the town wasn't that big. Mm-hmm. There was a small fishing community there and sailboats stopped there. Claudio's Casino, which wasn't actually a casino, it was a restaurant, and he had rooms that he rented some. And
paved?
We rented a house and stayed there for.
Were there paved streets in Coco at that point?
No.
Yeah.
No. Everything was dirt streets. Once you got off the Pan Am Highway, it was dirt.
Dirt. That's just it. Okay.
And the Pan Am Highway is about 15 miles away.
Okay.
And it was all dirt. Yeah.
So you got. You've described, and in my mind, like I have. Okay, I've gone online, and you and I have both done this, and gone online, and you can watch videos about all over Guanacaste now, and the tourist scene in Costa Rica and Playa del Coco, and you can drive around with people in Playa del Coco, and it just looks like Carmel by the sea or something nowadays. Right?
It absolutely blows my mind.
Right, just how it's changed and that.
I mean, it was inevitable.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Jesus, I'm glad I saw it like it was.
Right. I have a vision of coming down to the beach on that main drag with the big tree there, and Claudio's on the right.
Right.
And that just in my head, and it's just how you've described it to me now, and the thought that doesn't exist anymore is kind of sad to me.
It bothers me some.
Well, yeah, but you actually saw it. I just
when you got on that road, when it finally hit the beach, Claudio's off to the right. But before you got to Claudio's, there's a little home there a woman lived in, and she had a mango tree that had the best mangoes ever. Instead of being greedy and whatnot, she invited anybody when they came down, if you want to come pick one up, take it. She shared it with everybody.
That's beautiful.
And didn't want any money for it. But that was Costa Rica then.
Yeah.
I mean, I told you, the first time, can't tell you how much I respect and like Costa Ricans. I met a guy named Mike Bragg there. He'd been there since he was 12. And we kind of hung out together. And he was 19 when Monique and I got there. And one day we were driving back from Liberia, which is the county seat or the capital or the head place in Guanacaste.
It's where the highway goes through.
Yeah. And Liberia, well, it's just off the highway to the other side of the Pan Am Highway. The Coco's off the other way. But we were coming back, and it was doing Semana Santa, and a big windstorm. And there was a tree, looked like an oak or something, that had fallen across the road. And here were all these Range Rovers parked on each side. Here's a whole bunch of the people down, these very powerful and wealthy men that were down there for the holiday. And they were out there, and everybody carried a machete in their Range Rovers. They all had $90,000 Range Rovers. And they were all out there banging away on this thing with their machetes. And here comes a campesino on a mule with a chainsaw. And he was the man of the hour.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, great, good for you. Right on. Well, Mike grabbed the song, and we're helping put the gasoline in it and everything. And then he wanted 150 colones for the use of his chainsaw. And 150, the men that were there, 150 colones wasn't even a tip.
Right. Okay, yeah.
And one of these guys, I don't know who he was or what his position was, but he said, "Nunca, never." They put him back on his mule, gave him his chainsaw, and said, "Hit the road, Jack." If he wanted to come and be part of a group that worked together to get rid of it and bring in something that, would really help, he was the man of the day. But as soon as he wanted to make money off of everybody else's discomfort, screw you. They put him. Then they went back to chopping. With that chainsaw, it would have taken 10 minutes to clear everything out.
Sure.
They went back to chopping on that tree with their machetes. Another hour later, it got pulled out. They got some ropes out, used the Range Rovers to pull the big part of the tree out of the road, and off we went. Wow. Boy, did I respect them.
Yeah.
And they've never done anything to change it.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I saw them in a situation where common sense and ethics were involved, they were on the right side of it.
Yeah. And that's just kind of the vibe with. And one thing that I got out of your story, and we'll get into this later on in the podcast, though, it's just the differences between the different locales in Central America, the way the countries and the societies organize themselves.
That's true.
That's Salvador true. And Costa Rica, especially those two, which are the ones you have the most experience in, right? Yeah.
No one knows who's Juan Santa Maria. Mm-hmm. His name was Juan Santa Maria. He's a Costa Rican national hero. Wow. You know what he did?
What?
Gave his life for Costa Rica, and they haven't forgot it. There's boats named after him and everything else. During the war with Nicaragua, when Nicaragua moved into Guanacaste, they were going to take it over and take it from Costa Rica. Pepe Figueres and a bunch of Brahmaderos and the Costa Ricans rose up and kicked their ass out of there real quick.
Wow.
And Juan Santa Maria, the Costa Ricans had a bunch of Nicaraguans kind of trapped in this fort. But they couldn't get into it because it was a fort. Mm-hmm. But the roof was thatched.
Oh, no.
And Juan Santa Maria took a torch and got shot a number of times getting to it. He got close enough to throw the torch onto the roof and burn them out. They came out, the Costa Ricans took them apart.
Wow.
Juan Santa Maria.
When was that war?
1948.
Okay.
I think it was 48.
Okay. Wow. All right.
I think it was about that time.
Oh my God.
But
and we haven't mentioned it, but I want to mention it because it's in the book all over the place. But what do the Costa Ricans call themselves?
Ticos.
That's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Ticos. And the newspaper, the Tico Times.
The Tico Times.
That's cool. So, all right.
Now that's the English language.
The English language, that would be
in Costa Rica.
Right.
And it was started because of the expatriates that moved down there. When I was there were like 30,000 gringos living in Escazú, which is right next to San Jose.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Even back
when
then?
I lived there then. Yeah.
Dang. Okay. All right. Who lived in Coco then? Who were the people that you encountered? There's a lot.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mike Bragg
and,
Claudio. Claudio was kind of one of the head guys there.
Right. People respected him, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, no. Claudio, he told me he was up at Potrero Grande, which we'll get to.
That's also someplace, yeah.
Yeah, which is right up next to the Nicaraguan border on the west coast of Costa Rica. It's now a famous surf spot.
Right.
And we were one of the first there. I think we were the first there, surfing up there.
Oh, wow.
But he was up there fishing. He was a fisherman. And he heard a caiman, which are little crocodiles, in the estuary that's there. And it's something. He said he heard a caiman, or, he said a crocodile on one side do something, roar or something. And he said he heard a jaguar on the other side. And he said, I need to do something else for him. And so he started building his hotel, and he fell off the roof and hurt his back real badly. And this is a story I was told, I don't know. But he'd get someone to help him get in his boat in the morning and go fishing. And he worked his way back into health and finished his casino. And he was highly respected by everybody, including the wealthy men that came down there. When Monique and I were there it might have been during the same Semana Santa, here's all these they're kids, 15, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids on motorbikes,
Uh-huh.
zipping all over Coco, dust all over.
Oh,
and they were
man.
just kind of a pain in the ass. And they were all at Callio's one day, and all their bikes were there. So we put a chain through chained them all up, and then went and got their fathers and read them the riot act about their kids zipping around that place, just being a nuisance to everybody.
Wow.
And this is Costa Ricans. These are powerful men. And he said, "You're right."
Yeah, yeah.
And all that shit stopped. Bingo, right then.
Wow.
Claudio stopped it.
That's amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's the principle. It's like the principle.
Yeah, people with principle.
Yeah, yeah.
Understood the difference between right and wrong.
Uh-huh.
Costa Ricans, even the wealthy children, when they go to public school, they all wear uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no difference.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are great people, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's farther in the book when we got down there later. When we got to Costa Rica without our paperwork or everything on Anya, for $100, and they made it very clear to us it was not a bribe, it was a fine.
Right.
Went to general fund. They cleared all the paperwork stuff and said, "Welcome."
So save that. We'll tell that story again here in a couple of episodes, because it comes right after an analogous run-in with somebody up in Mexico, in which it was not going into the general fund.
No.
Yeah.
Very little
So we'll
goes
highlight those two.
Very little goes into the general fund in any place
Right.
except Costa Rica and Panama too.
And Panama's like that.
a good
Was
place.
Panama like that?
Oh no,
Okay.
you can trust the Panamanians.
Okay. All right. So, other, how big was like the gringo population of Coco then? The expats who were in there?
Well,
at that
Mike
time?
was there with his family. His father was Wilson, who I didn't think much of, but
Why not? Why didn't you like Wilson Bragg?
he just got an attitude. And when Monique and I left, she called me and said, "The car broke." And I said, "Put the key in the ignition and sign on it that says if you can fix it, it's yours. And get on the plane and come home."
Mm-hmm.
Well, Wilson went up and got the car. And when I was down there a year or two later, he let me know that I consider it my car. Well, I didn't give a fuck. He could have his car.
Wow.
He's just a
Of
jerk.
course, it's your car. It's the
Yeah.
sign. The
Yeah,
sign said
you
it was
have
yours.
it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you got the Braggs there. Who else was there?
Ron and Cease, and their daughter Zuki, who I thought the world of.
Oh yeah. You've mentioned Suki.
She's about 6 years old when I was down there. Just an absolute little firecracker.
Oh my God.
Ron told me, he says, "Yeah, I got a 16th birthday present picked out." I said, "What's that?" "Suitcase."
Was Dirk around? Dirk Jennings around?
Yes, and Dirk. Oh yeah, Dirk was there. I
Mhm.
met Dirk Jennings was there. He and I had known each other for years.
Mm-hmm.
And Dirk was an expat, and he had been in Vietnam. He'd gone there as a contractor, moving cargoes and whatnot up and down the river during the war.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
realize they were independent. They were military contractors
Yeah.
doing that. Wow.
Dirk Jennings was no candy ass. He was
No.
a good guy. Dirk and I got along great. He had his little finger, I think it was on his left hand, was off at the first knuckle. And what had happened, he was coming down a hill on a bicycle right there in Coco, and got all crossed up and flipped end over end, and anyway, his finger got caught in the spoke someplace, and it chopped it all off except just a little bit hanging the skin holding it on. And he's sitting there with it. "Oh man." And screw it. And he ripped the rest of it off and tossed it to a dog and ate it.
Jesus Christ. Oh my
He tossed
God.
it to his dog, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, there's the one picture you can find of Dirk Jennings online, and he just looks like a pirate. He looks like a swashbuckler with his
Yeah,
mustache.
Dirk won the runner. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
Dirk Jennings and I got along.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
cool.
we were friends.
What was the law in Coco?
The law?
Yeah.
Oh, Willie?
Yeah, Willie.
No, I don't mean to laugh.
No.
I mean, Willie was about 5 feet tall, and he carried a butt line special.
Okay.
The barrel almost, it was real close to the ground when he walked by.
It's got a long,
12-inch barrel on it. And he was a good guy. And there was another couple there that had just shown up about the same time Monique and I had. Her name was a girl named Birdie and a guy named Michael. And I don't know if they met in Costa Rica. I think they did. I think they met in Coco. But he had lived down in Santa Marta down northern on the uh, north part of South America, Colombia, in
Okay.
Santa Marta, Colombia, for 2 or 3 years. And Michael was probably the most carefree guy, even more so than Terry Lurcher,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
that I've ever met.
Well, because he and his girlfriend had discovered the secret of
Yeah, I
life
get
too,
just
right?
about to get to that. He and Birdie were two peas in a pod,
Mhm.
and they discovered each other and psilocybin mushrooms.
Mhm.
He already knew about them, and I think he introduced her. But in the morning, when they were just after it started to rain in the rainy season, they'd get up about dawn and head out in the pastures and find some psilocybin mushrooms, and they'd come in just whacked out on them.
Wow.
But they didn't bother anybody. But in Costa Rica, it's illegal to eat psilocybin mushrooms
Uh-huh.
or to be in anything. Well, I didn't know that. I don't think anybody else did either. No one ever, the first time it even came up.
Right.
So anyway, Willie got wind of all this. And one morning we were in there and both Bertie and Willie were in there and they were whacked out on mushrooms. And the cop, Willie, comes walking in and motions Michael outside. He wanted to talk to him. So Michael went out and Willie said, I couldn't hear what was going on, but this is what Michael told me, he said later. And Willie said to him, Michael, I know what you guys are doing. And eating mushrooms in Costa Rica is illegal. You can't do it. If you do it, I'm going to have to put you in jail. Well, you have to understand that jail is this little mud thing with a couple of rebars in the windows. I mean, my sister could have broken out of it, And then he says, I'll have to put you in jail. And Michael stood there for a second, and I saw it happen. I didn't know what the conversation was. He told me later. But Michael reached over and kissed Willie on the forehead and kissed him and said, Willie, oh, no. He said, Willie, if you have to put me in jail, put me in jail. And then reached over and kissed him on the forehead. Willie just shook his head and turned around and walked away. What do you do?
Yeah.
I really don't know what became of Bertie and Michael.
Yeah.
I hope he did well or they did well.
Wow.
He met no one any harm. He was just a free living guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So you and Monique are living there. You've got a place, and
Fairly
staying.
down the beach, to the southern end of the beach, kind of, which is now in the middle, and I see.
We'll be looking at the pictures. Yeah,
yeah.
It's all yeah.
I mean, there are houses all over.
Well, how did Monique take to Coco?
I mean, she blossomed. The people there loved her. She spoke the language fluently. Right. She had she spent a lot of time in a Swiss boarding school, and she spoke 4 or 5 languages.
Dang.
And Spanish was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And she was dark and beautiful, and she was kind to everybody. Monique was a kind, nice person.
She was like a Tico. She just fit right in.
Yeah, she fit right in. And she had the car to drive around.
Uh-huh.
And Monique would take people to a doctor appointment or take them here, whatever they needed to go. If they needed a ride, she'd take them.
Uh-huh.
Well, she got to be a part of the community more than I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember one day driving along, a woman come out and waving me down, then, oh, it's you.
Let you go.
No, Monique fit right in.
Yeah. I guess the other person we need to introduce here is Don Crenshaw.
Yep, he was a guy that had a trimaran. He was down in Golfito.
That's down at the southern end.
Yeah, and that was further south, and he and I got to be friends. And I'd go down there, and one thing led to another, and he wanted to do a load of pot. And I said, I'll give you the money to do it. We made a deal. I get 40%, give him 10 grand. He'd go get it. That was plenty of money to buy it and do the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
And it didn't work out. He didn't do what he said he was going to do.
Right.
But, and got between me and Monique.
Yeah.
Pre-time. And she broke up with me. We never.
So how did all that happen?
I came back to the States came back to get something or do something.
Had you already figured out that everything was cool in the States?
No, I didn't realize till she said she wanted to stay there a little longer. I said, okay, cool. Call me when you're ready to come back.
You're going back for some reason to do something.
And when she called me, she said the car broke up on the top of the hill going
Uh-huh.
up to San Jose. And I told her to come on home. He said, okay. And when she got back, she called me and told me she didn't want to go back together with me. I had felt her starting to pull away from me some.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time I was learning to speak. I said, pardon me. And she said, you say me with too much, like I'm a big shot or something. You know, it's
Wow.
arrogant. Well, I didn't understand it so much. And maybe I was a little bit. I was getting into buying this and bought a lot.
Uh-huh.
And oh, yeah, Domingo. I bought a lot from him, the one I bought.
Yeah.
And I was going to buy another one that his house and his wife and kids lived in for 45. And Monique came to me and said, Bob, he spent all that money in 3 days. She knew what was going on from the women.
Right.
I said, he did what? Yeah. He spent all that money in 3 days getting drunk with his friends.
Mm.
Oh, you know, he had a wife and 2 kids. He said, he'll do the same thing with him.
Right.
Oh, I said, okay. And I killed a deal with Domingo. I
Yeah.
said, Domingo, I don't want to buy that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
The
but she just, I could feel her pulling away some.
you'd also, I mean, you were talking now with Don Crenshaw about moving a load again. Do you think that had any contributed at all to her attitude? Like, did you get the
You
feeling
know what?
that she was?
I think I scared her. I think the whole thing. I mean, that 19, 20-year-old young woman
Mm-hmm.
told me she could never go to bed at night, couldn't get to sleep until she heard my footsteps
Right.
coming down the dock when I was flying weed.
Right.
And, you know, I put her through a lot more than I understood.
Mm-hmm.
And then standing there in that plane in Barranquilla with an ounce of pot in her panties with the DOS right there. I mean, she didn't crack us. You know, she was cool as could be.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I put her through that.
Right. Right.
And then I gave her reasons to not want to be with me anymore. Do you want to be with a guy that's taking all these chances? Because it's going to go bad one day.
Well,
and do you want to be there when it does?
And getting back into it too, right?
Yeah.
You and Don getting back
and
into
she
it.
took a chance, and we made it, and we were going to, and then this, and
Yeah.
it just keeps getting worse, I
Right,
think.
right,
you know,
right.
and she thought, screw it, I got to get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, she did. I mean, it was me. I'm sure I pushed her away.
Yeah.
I mean, she was a wonderful, beautiful young woman who loved me, and I killed it.
So you come back, you're back in the States. Monique comes back.
She gets back, but she didn't come right down. She called me and said she didn't want to go back together.
Did you have Anya yet, or you're still on Serenade at this point?
I had Anya by then.
So let's talk about that.
No, I didn't have it by then. I bought it just after that.
Right about then. Right. Okay. We'll get to Anya then.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So she comes back and what does she say to you?
Not much. She didn't want to go back together. And I said, Monique, if you don't want to be with me, there's nothing I can do about it.
Just like Susan, right?
It's just my first wife. When I
Yeah.
told her I didn't want to be married, she said, okay, if you don't want to be married to me, I don't want to be married to you. And that was all it was said. We went our ways.
Yeah.
And when Monique said, I don't want to be with you anymore, what can you say? You could beg? That doesn't do any good.
Right. Right.
I mean, I just said, if you don't want to be with me, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And we went our separate ways.
And while this is all happening,
Yeah.
while you're back in the States, that's why you came back to the States, if I remember right, to get ready to receive the load that Don Crenshaw was supposedly
that's
moving.
it.
Right.
That is it exactly. That, you know, we've gone through this stuff so many times.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I get it.
But that was the impetus that got me to come back. I knew I was okay.
And so you had given Don $10,000
Yep.
to buy the weed and make the trip, right?
Yep.
And he was going to sail his. Was it a try? Was it
A catamaran,
just
little catamaran, Cheshire Cat,
Cheshire, that's it, right? And he was going to sail that up to
Louisiana, where he
Right.
was from.
right,
Put it in a car and bring it out.
and then you'd get together and settle up
And
and all of that.
I'd sell it, no
Yeah.
problem. I could
Right.
sell that easy.
Yeah, you had all that.
So he didn't have to. All he had to do was show up with it. I gave him the money for it. All he had to do was bring it to me.
Okay.
I'd take care of the rest. I got 40%. He got the rest.
Right, right. How much would you have made from that? Do you think?
Oh, 500 kilos. Okay, that'd be 1,000 pounds at the time. About $300. About
Is it already
$300 a pound.
Okay,
So let's say 300 grand. I would have got 40%.
40% of 300 grand. So you would have gotten about 130 grand out of that. Okay,
And he would have got the rest.
Okay, so Yeah, hell of a deal.
And I'm
Easy
looking
money.
to go sailing with Monique with that money.
Right. That's another infusion of money
Yeah.
that you get there.
I made about that much.
Right.
And if you're going to do it again, and off we go. All you do is bring it up.
So you go back. You're back in Southern California. You're waiting for word from Dawn. Monique shows up and she breaks up with you.
Yep.
Okay. At what point do you buy Anya and all that?
That's when after that, I've heard about Anya from a guy named Bob Kuntz who said, hey, there's this boat down there. You probably get it 20 grand or so. And we went and looked at it, and I thought, well, he's not going back with me. I mean, that this deal's off. Fuck it, let's go.
And what was Anya again? A
41-foot Piver trimaran.
Trimaran.
And it was a great boat.
Yeah.
I wish I never got
it. It's a pretty little boat, man. It looked really pretty.
Oh,
that
and it
picture
sails
you
so
have
beautiful. And we put it through shit, and it pulled through every time. I just love Anya.
So are you on Anya then when Dawn shows up?
Yep.
Okay, so you've got this trimaran, and are you in...
We're in Channel Islands Harbor.
Channel Islands Harbor right there. And then you get... Dawn shows up with a couple of guys,
Yeah,
right?
and I knew him. A guy named Bobby and another guy who had been sailing down there. And I think two boats came.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I think Dobby brought some too. That was up to them. If they wanted to do that, all they had to do was deliver it.
Right.
And they got their 60%. I got my 40, and we were good.
So you are sick when they show up.
Yes, I wasn't feeling very good.
Right.
But I wasn't sick like I was. I didn't have boss. I was just I was just sick. I wasn't feeling good. But he shows up, and they came down to the boat, and they said, "Oh, yeah, cool. Where's well, look, we brought." They didn't bring it right. Then they told me we didn't bring weed.
Mm-hmm.
We brought oil. It's even better. All this, and I'm going, what?
Yeah.
Because you don't have a market. There was no market for oil. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking. I was in the wholesale business. I gave it to a mover, and he moved it. I'm not going to go around and sell little vials of oil.
Right.
And they bring it. Well, anyway, they brought all this oil in 4 5-gallon plastic containers, 5-gallon gas cans, 5-gallon gas cans is what they were, plastic gas cans. And they had one for each of us. I was going to get 25% of the shit they brought, and they were supposed to be. Well.
Oh, you were even getting a lower cut? Oh, I didn't realize that. They were going to cut you out. Oh, wow. Okay.
40%. Now, one for each of us, all 4 guys.
Oh,
see?
yeah. And you've
3 of them and me.
You've staked everybody here.
And I staked the hill, and, they weren't doing what they said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, these aren't real big guys. None of them were all that formidable or anything. But I would, but they probably, the 3 of them thought they could handle me, which they probably couldn't have. But none said. I gave my buddy Rick a call and said, listen, these guys are pulling some shit. Can you come up here with me tomorrow? He says, be right there. What he said was, do I need my gun? I said, no.
Wow.
And so Rick comes up, and he and I are waiting for him when they get there.
Mm-hmm.
And they came down on the boat, and Rick was on the boat. They came aboard the boat, and then I came in, and then Rick sat in the doorway. And and I said, this ain't the deal, guys. We made this deal, and you're pulling this shit. Not going to happen.
And Rick too was at one time, as you've lauded him, the toughest guy in the valley, right?
The toughest man I've ever known.
Right. But I mean, he made it sound like he actually held the title. Like there was the other guy who was the toughest guy in the valley, and then they met
Undisputed.
up. Undisputed. That's it. Yeah. Undisputed.
Oh, there was a guy named Stan the Man that disputed him when he was about 20 years old. The fight lasted 5 seconds. Stan the Man's fighting career was over.
Oh my God! Wow. Okay. All right. So yeah. Rick's a wonderful character.
Oh, he's a wonderful guy too.
Yeah,
He's a knight. I never ever saw him pick on anybody.
Right. And I love he comes down to the boat. You've got these 3 guys who are trying to pull shady stuff.
And I'm not real good at. I never really reprimanded him.
Right.
And Rick said,
well, Rick takes
guys,
a very important place. He sits on the steps in the doorway.
Yeah, nobody's going out.
Nobody's getting in or out without dealing with him, which is that's a power move right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask him to. He knew just what to do.
Did, yeah.
And he sat down, and I started, and I stung us a little bit and stirred and well, listen, and he said, listen, guys, how do you put it? You guys aren't going to do business again.
Right.
And so what we're going to do is what Bob wants to do. That was it.
Plain and simple.
And then I said, I'll take half of it. You guys can have the other half. I was real nice about it. I could have very easily said, well, I'll tell you what, you didn't do what you said, so I'm just going to take it.
Right.
And if you don't like it, fuck off.
Yeah.
I could have done that. But I'm never, unless I have to be, brutal. I just said, I'll take half and you take half. And they said, okay. Well, they didn't like it.
Sure.
But that's what it was.
Yeah.
Then we went the car. I got 2 of them. They went their way.
Right.
I didn't see them much again. I sold those 2 cans to a guy for $9,900.
So you lost $100.
I lost $100.
There of your 130
So
grand.
it was a push.
Yeah.
The money part was a push.
So this thing that happens with Rick there and Don and Dobby and the other guy, it had like kind of follow along consequences as far as your reputation went, didn't it?
I'm sure it didn't. It did. I'm sure it had something to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But
how would that have worked? I mean, so who was Don was familiar with the ranch, right?
Yeah, and I don't know how familiar. He ended up living out there
Mm-hmm.
for quite a while with him,
Mm-hmm.
and
well, that's how it happened then. I mean, because basically he doesn't get what he wants, and kind of gets put in his place.
Yeah.
And then takes that back to the.
Oh, sure. I'm sure that's true. Yes.
Right.
He had no idea that I could go boom like that.
Right.
And I've never done anything like that before. I never had to. And I never did anything like that again. The only reason Rick was there is so we didn't have any trouble.
Right. Right.
Hell, years later up here, a guy got my net back that had broken off when Greg was in. I went up to get it, and I called the cops first and told him, you might want to send a guy down to the harbor because I'm going to go get this, and I don't want to fight.
Yeah. Okay.
And they sent a cop down there, and it probably kept from being a fight.
Right. Right.
And I got my net back and all.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting that quelling the waters like that.
Yeah, I'll always do that. I don't want problems.
But that's interesting that leads to a bigger reputation for you as far as being a guy that you don't fuck with.
I guess it could.
That's just weird to me because it's kind of an ironic sort of thing. You're doing it so there's no problem.
Yeah.
And that makes you the tough guy. It's weird. Go ahead.
A lot of times the ironies kill you.
Yeah, that's true. You had even more, although you didn't know it at the time, right? But there were other reasons to kind of be pissed with Don and the kind of person Don was, separate from the deal that had gone south.
Oh yeah, he moved in on Monique. Well, I'd come back to the States to get ready for him to come. He'd gone up and gotten her. I was told later she took her down to the boat for a while before he took off.
Right.
And when they got up there, the first night they were there, she came down to Anya. I was sick.
Mm-hmm.
And she slept with him.
Yeah.
And then came over in the morning, felt my forehead and left.
Wow.
She was, we were done, I guess. Yeah. And I didn't know it. I was probably done when I left Costa Rica. You hit it in the book.
Yeah.
I'm looking back on it. That may have been true.
Wow.
And he clinched it, would be my guess.
Did you ever see Don again?
I saw him a few times at the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of times I can remember he had a trailer there, and he came out of his trailer one day and he saw me and looked at me for a minute, turned around, went back in the trailer. Actually, he did it twice.
Wow, yeah.
Going through these. That's the only. I just stayed away from the ranch. I was done with Billy, done with them, done with them all.
But he wasn't done with the gang at the ranch. In fact, as his reputation as a smuggler grows amongst the yachties, and now without Monique or any appreciable plan for the future to focus upon, Bobby steps fully into the role of a smuggler. He recruits a crew and sails south on his new trimaran, Anya, the goal being to find a load in Colombia and bring it back north. Along the way, there are storms and high seas and even some skinny dipping, but with sharks.
Billy got back on the boat. I said, well, for a couple more minutes I was out there, and then I was on the service with my mask up on my forehead, and I looked down and I see this thing coming up towards me, and it's real clear, and I thought, oh, a porpoise, and I put the mask down to look at it. It wasn't a porpoise.
Oh no.
And I got to the surface and started swimming to the boat about 30 feet away, yelling shark. And Billy said, I've never swum like crazy. He said, he came over to help me out of the water. He said, I came out like a feather.
Yeah.
I can remember my foot leaving the water thinking,
oh my God, wow.
That's next time on The One They Couldn't Catch. I'm Paul Kritz.